Hey, all my Virgo friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Terry Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today with your May 2024 monthly horoscope. These horoscopes are based on whole sign Western astrology. So when I'm talking about Virgo, I'm talking about Virgo rising. This is also applicable to Virgo moon, Virgo sun. And if you have 3 or more personal planets in the sign of Virgo, this video is applicable to you as well. And be mindful, I am in the Pacific time zone. So if you're somewhere else in the world, please adjust for your location when I talk about the days and the times of the transits. I also want to mention that I have no control over how to make the wheels stay on Virgo rising. So here we see Virgo. This is the Virgo house. This is actually the first house for you. And I'm going to talk about this because we have some strong activity happening in the sign of Taurus, which is your ninth house. And then we have also a little bit of activity happening in your fifth house. And these houses, the first, the fifth, and the ninth houses, are called Dharma houses in ancient astrology. And they rule rewards that are given for past life good deeds or things that you've done that it sort of kicks in the divine laws of compensation. Now, I bring this up, Virgo, because when you look at your natal chart, if you have any planets in the earth signs, they're going to be in your first, fifth, and ninth house. And this is a time with your awareness to start to garnish the rewards of those planets. We see here on the first day that we've experienced the conjunction in April between Jupiter and Uranus in your ninth house of Taurus. This could really have brought some revolutionary ideas about your belief system, about, business, commerce, you birthing yourself in a way of marketing yourself, branding yourself, working with social dynamics, social platforms to broaden your reach. You could also have seen potentially the culmination of some sort of legal matter. Jupiter rules the judicial system in the sense of the higher courts. It also rules higher education, and Uranus rules genius. So there's a lot that could have happened in your ninth house to shift you into a whole new energy and experience. The ninth house also rules foreign places, foreign people, and foreign things. Foreign doesn't necessarily mean moving yourself from Mexico to Europe. It could mean that you're experiencing something that you have never experienced before. So I think this is important because knowing that this is one of your Dharma houses, you can really start to capitalize on the rewards coming in. We also see that on this first day of the month, Venus has moved into her rulership and Mars has moved into his rulership. Mars and Neptune were having very powerful conversations over this last week or so about spiritual concepts, divine laws of the universe. We're seeing here this Pisces energy, this Neptune energy is your seventh house of yes, it's marriage partnerships, but it's also professional contractual partnerships. It's also where you foster a sense of peace and harmony and cooperation. So here, while Neptune's been transiting this house, and Mars and Neptune have been having a conversation, this is about being brave, about how you go about creating that for yourself. And I want to mention that we're seeing a sextile between these two planets and Pluto. And while Mars will continue to move on, Pluto and Neptune will remain in a sextile for the next decade, at least, through their retrogrades, through moving through Neptune's move into Aries, it's going to continue. So this is a really powerful opportunity to experience transformation through applying what I believe and what I'm learning about in my spiritual beliefs, in my connection to source energy, God, the angels, the divine, whatever you want to call it, your higher power, because your transformation is highly supported. And this is going to come in your sixth house of work. And this could very much give you a sense of independence, a sense of feeling more at driving the bus of your own creativity and your own talents and skills. Again, The earth signs for you are the first, ninth, and the fifth house. I don't know why I'm saying it backwards. I should say first, fifth, and ninth, but I think it's because there's so much happening in your ninth house of beliefs. Right now, we don't see too much happening in the fifth house of Capricorn just yet. So let's move on. We're going to go to the new moon on the 7th. And this is going to happen at 8:21 p.m. Pacific time. This new moon in Sagittarius is in your fourth house of home. And I'm sorry, this is a new moon in Taurus. I'm sorry, the full moon will be in Sagittarius, excuse me. This new moon in Taurus is really about experiencing your planting the seeds for those new beliefs, planting the seeds to maybe even potentially start to structure or set down the parameters for new endeavors within your work environment, within how you grow and expand within your ability to use your talents and skills, as well as make money and resources at it. The having the ninth house be Taurus, we're going to see your 10th house being lit up when Jupiter, we see here, it's at 25 degrees. When it moves into your 10th house, there's a real opportunity for expansion of your everyday activities through using your voice, your mind, your processes. So this new moon is really planting the seeds for a discovery of some kind, an elevated experience. It's at the Virgo degree too. So there's an opportunity to truly think about how you want your everyday world to be. If you know, what does it look like when I wake up in the morning? What does it look like when I'm having lunch, and who am I interacting with? Because here we see, while it's not in a direct aspect to the new moon, we see Mercury and Chiron at the Sagittarian degree, that's Jupiter's degree, thinking, how can I transform this wound? How can I take it somewhere and turn it into something that works for me versus making me feel tethered to it? I think this is really powerful. We see that Neptune is in a sextile to Jupiter. This sextile is in, these are co-ruling planets, meaning they both rule Pisces. Pisces is naturally the 12th house. It's your house of partnerships, but it's naturally the 12th house that is referred to as the house of the unconscious, the house of the self-undoing. It's where we have a soul's imprint that we sometimes in the lower energies, we would rather escape it than to address it. So when we see this favorable aspect between these Jupiter here and Neptune, which is going to continue as Jupiter finishes its journey through Taurus. And as we said earlier, Neptune is going to sextile Pluto for the next 10 years. Pluto's offering a rebirth. The death, the washing away of something that doesn't serve you. It could very well be giving up yourself for somebody else, working too hard. Virgo rules a sign of service. It's a sign of health. And your health is very much dictated by your daily routine and your daily habits. So we're going to see a real opportunity for you to elevate this in this new moon, but elevating it from how you're writing it, using your gifts, your talents, your skills. All right, let's go on to, will I turn the page on my notes? Let's go to the 15th, where we'll see Mercury move into Taurus. Move this to 12 p.m. So here we see Mercury is at the 0 degree of Taurus, and Mercury is making a square to Pluto. This very much feels as if there is some sort of potentially, as this square continues for the next couple of days, there could potentially be something that comes up that dings you. You know, you could inadvertently get a criticism from somebody on a team that you work with or within your neighborhood. You could inadvertently, I want to say that somewhere it feels as if there's the potential that Virgo gets a little bit of a ding. And I think this Pluto is giving you an opportunity to really decipher whether or not the person or the dynamic that's giving you the ding is worthy of fretting over. You know, one of the things about the Virgo energy, and because you're of service to others, there's a tendency to want to be perfect at everything or to please people all the time, and it's not really feasible. So here you get to really transform that. We see again, we're just really feeling this divine energy of Neptune and Jupiter trining this Pluto energy. So as you surrender on many levels to your ruling planet, coming into this dynamic and feeling, how do I want to use my skills? How do I want to assess how other people perceive me? Because if for some reason you don't think that you're good enough, that is not a fair assessment. And that gets to be revisited. And that would be the things that the sextile between Neptune and Pluto over the next 10 years will chip away at until you embrace your talents and your fabulously flawed self. And I want to offer this too, because now Venus here in your ninth house of beliefs is moving towards Uranus. So you could very much, she's the ruler of the house, have an epiphany about you, who and what you are, and how maybe even if you've experienced a challenge, it's actually launching you into the stratosphere as you allow yourself to birth a new version of yourself out into the world, because we're all these planets. Uranus is going to take a bit of time, but Venus, Jupiter, the Sun, Mercury, Mars, they're all going to start to congregate over here for a while. So this is going to be very exciting, and it could be very busy because it could very much expand everything you're doing in that house, which is your 10th house of career. I want to bring that up. Okay, let's go now to the 20th. Now we see that the sun has entered Gemini, and now Venus and Jupiter are really starting a beautiful conversation that is offering so much expansion, so much more wealth. And I want to offer wealth and redefine it, because sometimes wealth is not actually dollars in the bank. It's time. It's being able to actually enjoy the time and relax and put my feet up and actually settle into that. So I think there could potentially, during this period of time, be a redefining of what resources you really want. Could be coming into chapters of your life where you want to travel more, or you want to experience, delving into some sort of hobby or something that you enjoy, even going back and educating yourself. Maybe you've always wanted to learn a foreign language. That could happen. All of that's going on over here. Uranus is in a loose trine, but Venus, Jupiter, and the Sun are all in a super strong trine with Pluto, calling forth more and more transformation for you. And that transformation comes in that 6th house of enslavement, the house that you naturally rule, the house of your health and the house of your pets. And but more importantly, I think it's really accentuating your everyday routines and what you want to do with those everyday routines, how you want them to play out. I think here we're seeing Mars interacting with the North Node and Chiron. This has been going on for quite some time, pretty much the last week and a half, meaning from about the 15th till now. And this will continue as Mars moves forward and meets up with Chiron, but there will be a ravenous energy for transformation. And the transformation will be about actually being able to see in the 3D world your everyday activities shifting more succinctly towards what it is you want. And I think that while being a Virgo and being an earth sign, seeing things in the 3D plane is important. It's also very important to remember the be, do, have, which is what is my belief about the situation when I start an endeavor. And that's what this accentuation of Neptune in your 8th house of transformation. I'm sorry, your 7th house, on the edge of your 8th house of transformation. This is very, very powerful. Okay, let's go on to the full moon that's going to happen on the 23rd. And this is in Sagittarius at 6:53 a.m. And I just think that this is an amazing full moon. I think that there are things, we've been talking about. See how we're continuing to feel the trine to Pluto, the sextile to Neptune. This feels like a huge theme of the month. Here in your 6th house of service and work, completely rewriting your everyday life, how you perceive it, giving yourself an opportunity to really implement mastery of your thoughts, of your desires, of your connection to source, to God, to that which you believe in. I don't know that there is one name for source, so I don't want to box it in, because we also see Jupiter and Venus at this anaretic degree. The 29th degree reduces down to an 11. The 11 represents the master number of thought. Mastering thought is not wrestling your dark thoughts down to the ground and putting a bunch of, fuzzy warmness on them. It's the awareness of them, and then having the ability to say, does this thought serve me? And here we see your ruling planet at 11 degrees. So while it's not making any other aspects to other planets, it is in some sort of synergy, some sort of cooperation with the action that's going on here that is supporting this trine between the 2-degree Sun making a trine to Pluto, Pluto making a sextile to the full moon in Sagittarius, illuminating my beliefs, illuminating a diverse, another option. That Sagittarius energy is giving Virgo more options, a wider berth to choose from. Now, if you want to walk through that, that's your human choice. And that's part of what is the beauty of this planet. So I think this is going to be a really, really powerful energy. And while the moon is in an opposition to these planets, I think it's just illuminating, am I using my skills? Am I using my talents? Do I believe in myself? Am I willing to try new things? Or have I inadvertently gotten into routine in my everyday life that hasn't opened me up to new things recently? So we'll see. Okay. Let's go to the 25th. And here we see that, well, let's go a little later in the day. Let's go to 3 p.m. And we see, not quite yet, minutes away. Let's try 5 p.m. Okay, here we go. Now we see that Jupiter has moved into Gemini for the next year. Gemini is your 10th house of career, expanding your opportunities, expanding your sense of ambition, your sense of claiming what it is, and also becoming potentially an authority of it, being the go-to person. Venus is going to spend a little bit of time here, as is the sun, they'll book on, but you have a whole year of time with this expansive energy in your most public, the highest part of your chart is that 10th house. And we see here's Venus in it, and the sun for that matter, continuing this. I don't know what to call this. And maybe I'm silly. Maybe there's a name for it and I just can't remember it. But this looks like a T square, but it's not a square. It's a T trine. It's sextile here. So favorable. And while the moon is making sort of a challenging, this is a momentary energy. This will fly by, and so I'm not really addressing that. What I want to focus in on is Jupiter moving into your your house of career, your house of ambition, your house of people seeing you shift, and how this is really going to be a very favorable energy, even if Jupiter is in detriment. When a planet rules the opposite sign, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius, it's considered the furthest away from its home planet and feeling in exile. But here the planets are starting to evolve, and in their evolution, they are learning and seeking the cooperative components of their oppositions. So this is where Jupiter has an opportunity to pay attention to details that it would otherwise have ignored, and also become aware of how it can use its talents, its influence in the everyday networks, in my teammates, my workmates. My Gemini rules our everyday activities. And while you, Virgo, are not a Gemini, it is your co-ruling planet, meaning both of you are ruled by Mercury. So I really think that this is very powerful, and pretty soon we're going to see your ruling planet move into your house as well. This will happen the very beginning of June. So this period of time in May and June for you is very powerful for your intention setting, for your laying the groundwork for your expansion as the year moves on. Now let's go to, let's go to the 29th, because here we're seeing Mercury, your ruling planet, starting to have a very strong conversation with Uranus. And I'm going to just jump. I just want to show you this before I do, excuse me. I also want to note that during this time, we see Mars and Chiron exact at 22 degrees. This could be the death of your wound and the transformation of your wound, and having it brought into the present. The 22nd degree can be considered a very challenging degree. But I believe that as this 8th house of Aries for you, this is where Virgo is starting to process things in a practical way, in an earthly way, that says, oh, my wounds don't serve me anymore. They don't make me move my story forward. So what can I do about them? Can I change them? It feels like something logical happens for Virgo, and that is accentuated by this conjunction between Mercury and Uranus that happens over the next few days. Here we'll just go for the next few days, and we see them having this strong conversation, which is my genius, moving myself forward, Uranus, being thinking to the future, thinking about my hopes and my desires, thinking about my friends and what do I want, what groups do I want to enjoy that support the renovated version of me versus an old version that was enslaved to something that doesn't actually feel authentic anymore. And here, as Mercury will move on June 3rd into its co-ruling sign, we're going to feel the power of your skills and your confidence and the expansion and your everyday world starting to show evidence of your forward motion. So this end of the month is pretty favorable. The only challenges we really see are these half squares, which are to Chiron, Mars, and Eris. And that is really, while it is it's strong, but it's not that strong. It's more of a subconscious thing. With Mars here in the red and Eris, Eris is Mars's little sister. This is a conversation about standing up for myself. And am I going to let my wound continue to pull me under, or am I going to allow it to transform and allow myself to believe something bigger about that wound? That if my soul walked through this challenge, what did it want to garnish? What did that disruption give me in the way of a divine future? So these broader thoughts are all going to be pretty much on the table. And one more quick thing here is we see that Pluto is here at this 1 degree, making this trine aspect to Jupiter. This is going to go on into June. So the transformation of your beliefs, the transformation of your hopes and your dreams, the potential unearthing. There could be a bit of weeding that goes on, but with a trine, this will be something you enjoy. This could be, literally purging old energies from your work environment and creating new dynamics, or starting to create new dynamics. All right, my Virgos, that's it for me for May 2024. Again, my name is Terry Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer. I'll be back with your June forecast. Be on the lookout for the full moons and the new moons. I put out videos for that. And then, of course, as we change signs, I'll be posting a Jupiter in Gemini. So you might want to check that out because your 10th house of career and ambition and public eye is lit up over the next year. All right, everybody, thanks so much. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll know when new content comes out. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.